We're back and we're live, and now we have video too. Oh man, Beyond the Summit living in 2013. It's Mouse Sports versus Dignitas, a best of 3 for the G1 League. Our second and final match of round 1 of the losers bracket. This will be our second team sent home. If you missed today's action, I'm about to spoil the first match of today. It was, in fact, Liquid versus Kaipi, and Liquid cleanly and calmly 2-0'd Kaipi, knocked them out of the tournament, and today we're going to say goodbye to one more team. Will it be Mouse Sports, or will it be Dignitas? We're about to find out. I'm LD, and I'm joined here by Luminous.
And look at the start coming out from Mouse Sport. They could pick up Lifestealer here, and they're going to be the trifecta of Lone Druid, Lifestealer, and Magnus. There's so much HP in the front line, but I feel like that's not a big deal here for Team Dignitas, who loves to draft greedy. And so far, they draft a teamfight-oriented lineup: Darkseer, Rubik, and Luna. Rubik not exactly a teamfight hero, but when there's a RP to steal, he quickly can become one.
You know, it would be a big deal, but for Dignitas, not so sure it is. They're a team that consistently gives away drafts, just like the one you said, and then finds a way to deal with them. Now, that wasn't the case yesterday against Na'Vi, at least not enough, as they did get knocked down to the losers bracket, but it wouldn't surprise me if Dignitas give away a combo like this and then find a way to win the game anyway, whether it's just with creative movements from their heroes, whether it comes down to just superior execution of the team fights, or just Mouse Sports overextending. We'll have to see, but they're giving up a lot. Make no mistake about it. This is arguably, I would say, probably the strongest opening in Dota 2 right now, because you get Lifesteal and Lone Druid, 2 of the hardest to kill carries, like you mentioned, tanky, but also heroes that scale well with farm if they do get it, and one of them almost always gets it. And then if you try to go on either one, Magnus is there to turn the fights and potentially the game. So it may come down to some hero Rubik plays for Dignitas if they want to pull out this game 1.
Here's one thing I noticed about Mouse Sports' lineup in this particular game is that they're not exactly too strong early on. They're okay. I mean, they keep get a couple kills. It really depends on what they choose support they pick up here, and depending on how they lane it. If they run an offensive trailing against Team Dignitas, I feel like that's when teams are beating Team Dignitas, that's generally how they do it. They take advantage of Team Dignitas' greed and say, all right, man, I know you're going to have one jungler. I know you're going to have Darkseer up top. And basically, Rubik Luna is all you pretty much got. And if we could really punish you by killing Luna multiple times and get far ahead, then they generally take the game. So let's see if that's how Mouseboard would like to lane it.
Yeah.
Team Dignitas right now looking for a solo mid, and most likely looking for the jungler / secondary support.
You know, knowing Dignitas, could easily see the Darkseer in the jungle, and I was going to say the Clockwork in the offlane, because he really wreaks havoc on Lifestealer and Magnus, for that matter, when you try to jump in and RP, hit the cogs, get bounced off. But Mouse Sports, very wisely, going to ban that one off. Against most teams, you see the Darkseer pick, and unless it's LGDN, where occasionally they send it solo mid, you pretty much assume it's the offlane, and don't necessarily look towards a Clockwork ban. But Mouse Sports showing that they've done their homework versus Dignitas, and I feel this is sort of the key to dealing with this Dignitas team. They're very unorthodox. They pick these unusual drafts that seem greedy, but if you at least remove some of their most disruptive and effective heroes, sure, maybe they have an extra hero farming, but is it going to be a high impact hero for them later on? The Clockwork, one of their key heroes, they won't get that this game, though.
Well, another key hero that they usually like to rice and pick up is the Enigma, and so far it's still in the pool.
Or the Prophet.
Sure, and that's going to be the secondary jungler. It's definitely a high impact hero for the Enigma, and of course Prophet comes in a little bit later on, but does definitely give you a secondary semi-carry. So depending on what Team Dignitas feels like, and depending how aggressive they think Mouseboard will be, yeah, I feel like both those heroes is going to be a very stable pickup. And there's only one ban left here for Mouseboard. Meanwhile, Alchemist being banned out despite already the fact that there's Tricore being picked up. So maybe Team Dignitas expecting a support Alchemist of some sort.
Yeah, so the Mousesports have run quite a lot of the Shadow Demon Alchemist combo, and that would be pretty devastating for Dignitas. You can disrupt the Luna, get illusions of Luna on your side, and get that aura benefiting your own team. Not to mention, they just hit quite hard to begin with. Illusions of Luna, one of the stronger heroes to disrupt, and I mean, there's still the Shadow Demon, but it won't come with their patented Alchemist. The other reason they prefer this hero as a support is it's a great hero to build things like an early Mechanism and early Medallion. The standard build is get the Medallion. They usually try to take Roche early, but they won't have that this game. In fact, Dignitas will be the team with the big minus armor now, as they pick up the TA, essential for bringing down the Lone Druid Bear and the Lifestealer, who, as tanky as he can be when he's auto-attacking, doesn't have the best armor and doesn't have the best agility gain. So potentially a bit of a squishier target as far as carries go for this TA come mid-game. Mouse, they'll go for the Bane. Lumi, I'm looking at Dignitas, and I feel this game will be all about Snake King and Kenny Snowball on his TA.
Yeah, it's going to be somewhat difficult to do so against the Bane Elemental. Generally, you come into lane, you pick up 2 quick kills, and you go back to your farm. But when you run into a Bane, you bounce off what I call it like a big wall in the sorts, because he nightmares you. There goes your any kind of big gank. So they're going to try to do it through the Chen. And this push coming out about 15 minutes in the game is looking mighty, because Chen creeps and Templar Assassin in the front, and of course, most of it will benefit from the Luna Aura. And of course, you have Darkseer coming in. There's some nice cute combo. You search your Centaur, you put Iron Shield in Centaur, he runs in, and he's going to be a disruptive force on his own right.
And you can really see the one other theme with these bans. They banned not only some good support heroes, but really good counter-pushing supports. They banned out Jakiro, Leshrac, and Alchemist, who you might not think of him, but with Acid Spray is actually one of the best counter-pushing supports in the game, because Acid Spray not only does a lot of damage, but also gives you the Midas Armor, so the tower kills off things like Chen creeps a lot quicker. So Dignitas, with a well-executed set of bans to set up this Chen final pick, and Mousesports perhaps have fallen into the trap by picking up Bane. Sure, nice against the TA. No counter push to speak of. They will get some now in the form of the Lina, but it's just Shockwave and whatever nukes the Lina can muster. So finding the early levels on this Lina is going to be absolutely essential for Mousesports, and it will be Alex playing it. So looks like they're hard support this game. Probably that 5-position support, which means the levels may be tough to come by.
Yeah, I imagine that Paz and Alex is going to be rotating back and forth with 4 or 5, depending who gets more kills, who gets more last hits. But let's quickly introduce on both these teams, as they are, one of these teams is going to be going back home if they lose this best of 3 series. We have Universe going to be going up top here with the Darkseer. Way Too Sexy is going to be playing the Chen. Of course, we have Fog playing the Rubik. Snake King looks like he's going up bot, but I don't think he is. He's pulled a set of either Tango or Salve. He's going to be going mid with Templar Assassin. And last but not least, Aoi is going to be playing Luna.
Let's see if he can make the magic happen. For me, it's the Snake King show. When Dignitas is winning, Snake King almost always is the reason why with that snowball. Or if not the reason why, then a strong factor. When they're losing, it's often because he got shut down, which was the case yesterday for the most part. So on the side of Mousesports, your German upstarts, your contenders. No Kuroki for this squad any longer, but they've got Fata back in action, a.k.a. Broken Hand Gaming. He'll be playing that Magnus, taking it solo mid. Alex on the hard support Lina. Observer's already picked up. Koikfa going to be pulled a salve by that very same Alex. And then over towards Paz, playing the Bane. Smoke and a Sentry picked up, and a set of Sentries picked up. And last but not least, it'll be Black, handling the safe lane Lone Druid. A hero that we have occasionally seen him play, but not really a hero that he plays a whole lot of, at least not as of late in competitive play. It's generally been things more like the Anti-Mage or the Phantom Lancer when they've been winning, especially. But Lumi, with that being said, what do you think? I don't think they're running dual lanes, although we do see Lina bottom.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're doing offensive trialing. They definitely can.
Koikfoot did his same little trick where he drops the Quelling Blade, and then we saw this yesterday, actually, I believe. And I'm not sure what Black's talking about, but for some reason his bear is bugged, I guess?
I don't think the bear's supposed to have 2.1 HP regen per second, though it looks pretty quick.
Yeah.
Check my in-game mic. Thank you, A-Tree.
Well, I saw you testing it beforehand, Lumi, but apparently you're testing no good. So Koikfa, well, he's been pulled this extra set of regen. He dropped his Quelling Blade, which is something I mentioned yesterday. I will mention it again. The reason you do this is they don't know you're jungling off the bat in Dignitas. Even if they try to respond, they'll be a little bit slower. But Koikfa, I also mentioned this yesterday. This is the hardest camp in the game to do at level 1. These Ursas, even when he's pulled, even starting with Quelling Blade and Stout Shield, nearly dies off the bat. But being pulled, he can afford to deal with it. And hopefully your in-game audio is sorted out by now, Lumi. So they'll be running this Jungle Lifestealer. Last game, had a good start, then didn't really have the impact later on, but he also had the easier creep camps to farm, so he may find the levels this time, but it's not going to be quite as efficient. As you can see, already forced to pop through almost 2 sets of regen just to do that one Ursa camp.
Yeah, last time when I saw the Jungle Lifestealer, it's definitely harking back to a lot of pub Lifestealer, as most pub Lifestealer lanes the jungle. But the big thing for me that game was how quickly he hit level 6, got a ton of EXP early. And the reason I was harping EXP so much because there was Queen of Pain mid, so they could have done a lot of more mid-game ganks. In this particular game, there's not going to be that option, so I feel like it doesn't matter as much how Lifestealer is farmed, as long as he comes out to provide a little bit more mid-game disruption. That's all he really needs to do. I think Mousesport expects to throw away the early game a tiny bit and then come back mightily in the mid-game.
And as for Dignitas, for the moment, they're content to just do what they do best, which is pick a lot of heroes that can really maximize their efficiency around the map, and then farm, farm, farm. And later on, we'll see the aggression, but not for the moment. Way too sexy. Happily jungling away. I imagine he's searching for a Wildkin right now. If he finds one, we'll see him stacking those camps and farming them effectively and very quickly at that. AUI 2000, happily pressuring this bottom lane. This may force Mouz to rotate. Maybe not now, but potentially... with the next catapult wave. We'll have to see if they look to bring anyone down there. But for the time being, you know, just a farm fest, and looking at the gold graph, looking at the experience graph, it's Dignitas who's pulling ahead, and sort of what you would expect with a Darkseer and a Chen in the jungle. This is something that Lifestealer and 2 supports sharing one sort of pulls is not going to be able to keep up with.
Yeah, Fogged is also jungling as well, so this is basically 3 camped at the same time. They're hugging in the jungle a little bit, not too sure exactly what that's about. But right now, yeah, Dignitas is leading slightly in terms of EXP. I wonder when that smoke gank's going to come from the mid lane. You saw Bane Elemental having that smoke of the seat. And of course, it's going to be an awkward lane to gank into. I think we see multiple times today, yesterday, that how a lot of players, a lot of Magnuses especially, just straight up drop the RP against Templar Assassin. You get that kill against any other solo mid, but not against TA with full refraction up.
Oh,
so,
Snake King. Really aggressive movement towards the enemy tier 1 mid, and that smoke gank you expected, it comes very early. In fact, gonna drop his, I thought I saw him drop a bottle for a second there.
Skewer backwards is gonna basically mean they get the kill, but...
Oh, Snake King's playing a little coy now, and he'll get his bottle back, and they're not gonna find this kill. Not unless he moves way forward. In fact, he's in the jungle now, so no chance. Missed opportunity here and a lot of wasted time as well. And Invis Rune, 2 heroes smoking, nothing.
Yeah, I don't like that Invis Rune because I think if Magnus was basically farming, trading farm, you'd think like, oh, everything is okay. But the fact that Magnus also disappeared, you're like, well, it's starting to get a little bit more suspicious. And of course, he's like, I'm going to go refill my bottle with a courier as well. So yeah, a lot of wasted time. And they're going to try to transition into a tier 1 tower push. These guys are not exactly known for pushing, so they're going to just be big range creeps in this big kind of engagement up top.
Well, they have the lone druid, so they can work on the tower, but at the same time, Dignitas, this is an empty lane bottom, and Luna, if the lane's empty, and the Rite of Basilius is there, can push quite fast. You can see active aura turned on for AUI 2000, wants to keep the pressure on the tower, making sure he gets that +2 armor to all his creeps. That will force Qualifier to teleport down to the bottom lane, and the problem is, well, he's just sitting here, not really stopping AUI from farming, not really getting experience, worried perhaps about a gank, and not doing anything, really. And it feels like for Mouz Sports...
No, he can't actually go into a lane because AUI has upgraded boots. As soon as he sees Lifestealer and an empty creep wave, he just runs straight at Koifa. And Koifa, well, he has 2 options. He rage and run, which he'll get chased down by Eclipse eventually, or if he doesn't rage and run, he'll get chased down by right click. So,
well, there was no Eclipse at that point. Now there is. The problem is, I mean, even if he's not getting run down, he's going to get harassed out of lane in a matter of seconds, so... I don't really like that TP. I feel like their whole strategy was, we're just going to give up this tower early and we'll farm. But
yeah,
they do get a tier 1 of their own, and I suppose for the moment have the tower advantage. But that's only because Dignitas has not chosen to push with the Chen. Once they do, the tower will fall. And I don't feel like Dignitas is in a huge rush to take these towers.
Yeah, these towers are basically free much later on because you have the Luna push. Come level 8 or 9, she is so strong, there's no way you really could defend this, not through measly Dragon Slave and Shockwave. And here we go. Looks like we do have a Rage being baited out by Koifa. And I think they do make that push now. And with Eclipse, you can't even make that defense. Definitely not with the Lifestealer.
It's something we saw from Mouz yesterday, Lumi. Will they be more successful this time? I'm not so sure. It's a level 3 Lina, so only 2 points of the Dragon Slave. They may slow down the push. They ain't gonna stop it. They'll even rotate their level 3 Bane down. But against the Chen, who's already 5 with 2 creeps, AUI, who's 6 and has Eclipse, and soon to be level 7 with the level 4 Lucent Beam, well, Dignitas may back off. And they still get the tier 1 Mouz. More time being spent trying to defend this bottom lane. I'm really having flashbacks to yesterday because, sure, they may defend it if Dignitas doesn't come right back in with the smoke and kill them, but it's just so much wasted time for minimal trade-off.
Yeah, generally you make that 1 rotation from the Lina, and we saw that TP coming in, but you generally don't rotate 2 supports, and Bane Elemental right now is wasting a ton of time, and he's a support hero that needs a ton of level, which he's not getting. Big Smoke gonna come through the mid lane. They're gonna try to get a gank against this Magnus, and I'm not exactly sure how because there's no true stuns here.
There's the trap. You drop the trap, and then he tries to skewer, you lift him. So I think they definitely can get the kill because the lift even interrupts skewer. So, but with having this haster, they'll need perfect chain stun and the smoke revealed. So Nothing doing now.
Well, smoke ran out, and I don't.
Well, it's actually nighttime. They haven't seen him yet, but
yeah.
Problem is, I don't think they'll get in vision in time, or in range in time.
Yeah, the lift is not exactly the longest range spell, and it looks like the two supports have rotated to the mid lane as well, which I think that's a win here for Team Dignitas, because you're ahead in terms of EXP. If nobody gets a kill, you still maintain your EXP lead. And Chen is rotating through a couple of creeps in the jungle. He's happily looking for that level 6. And once you do get level 6, TA's not dying.
You're very far ahead in terms of experience. Mid lane, Fata will drop the RP. Looks to skewer, Snakey back in. Not quite range of the tower. They need those extra shots. Every single nuke has been tanked by Refraction. He's going to be able to pop it again in a second. He's even sent back. I don't even think that was needed. Now the lift onto Fata. The haste turn is gone. And he's in a lot of trouble. The stun one, the Chen creeps. Looks like he'll be okay. When it's all said and done, they blew an RP. They got nothing. And it's the same story of what we saw earlier today. Without damage over time, you just can't find kills on a TA solo mid with RP.
Yeah, and that's why I was harping on Kuroki in leveling Ignite yesterday when he's playing Ogre Magi. Unfortunately, no hero with Egg-handed damage over time. I guess the closest one is Bane Elemental, but Nightmare doesn't actually do damage. It takes your HP, which is distinctively different when you're playing against the Templar Assassin. So, in any case, they didn't get that kill. RP is expended. And that means, well, AI could do whatever he wants on the bot lane for at least a long, long while.
So we settled into a more passive style, and I think it's time to kind of just compare what the team's plans are heading in towards the mid-game. Dignitas, they have what isn't necessarily an all-in pushing lineup, but a heavily push-focused lineup at that, going on Fata mid. They'll lift him now, which means he can skewer away, but the Ion Shell combo, it's the Templar Assassin Darkseer special. We saw it yesterday. We'll see it again here. A vacuum and a Qualifier. I think Staking could have gone, but he'll choose to play it safe. Just a little chip damage done. And for Dignitas, now that they've got their core levels, they're getting the items soon after these towers. They just want to push and take fights. For Mouz, they just want to sit back and farm and stall the game. And I feel like they just wasted too much time early, where if they try to farm now, it'll be hard to catch up, honestly. I mean, a hero like Lifestealer is not a flash farmer. Not going to keep up with a Luna or a TA for sure at this kind of rate.
Exactly, and Dignitas says, yeah, Black, you try to get farm, get last hits up top, get whatever you can, because we're coming, and right now in the mid lane, there's a lift. Pasta's going to be dead for sure. Nice lift back into a stop from the Centaur. First blood being drawn. We are 9 minutes in, but hey, Templar Assassin would thankfully take that gold. Darkseer going to go back up top and get that EXP under a tower, and I think this push could stop for now, because they definitely got what they wanted. A tier 1, a first blood. AI going to go back and farm the jungle. And this is flashback to yesterday, like you said. This game, everybody can farm anywhere, and there's not much Mouseport could do to stop it.
Don't be fooled by the fact that that was the first blood notification. The first blood was drawn a long time ago when Dignitas were just being massively more efficient, from the movement of their supports to just the fact that they were trading farm and having a lineup they could just farm faster in the jungle. First blood, long past, but that's our official first blood. And on that note, we can take a look at the gold graph. About a 4,000 gold lead for Dignitas, as well as almost a 2,500 experience lead. Good news for Mouz is they have a decent lineup to take fights with minimal farm. Heroes like Lifestealer don't need that much farm to at least be a threat in the fights, but problem is, they don't have a great initiator for me, and until Fata gets a blink, I don't see how that changes, and I don't see him finding a blink too soon the way this game is going, so that's priority number one. If I'm Mousesports, I look at this game and say, somehow Fata's got to get a blink, and we have to hold on to our towers. If we could do those two things, and not fall too much farther behind in terms of a golden experience, we have a chance. But outside of that, I think they're in a lot of trouble.
Man, normally I would agree with you that, you know, Lifestealer definitely a very item independent hero. You know, Magnus, I call them item independent as well, because once you have Arcane, you could be pretty fight worthy. You could skewer in and start, you know, landing some RPs, doing it the old school way. The difficulty of actually getting a kill against Team Dignitas is going to be hard, because Luna's pretty tanky now with the drum and strength crits, and of course Templar Assassin's already tanky with Refraction. You got to kill through a Chen, Mech, a Test of Faith sandbag, as well as Surge. I'm not exactly sure if Mouseport have that kind of capability and farm to do so right now, so...
That's a good point. I mean, they do have a lot of defensive abilities, and... well,
and tanky heroes.
Yeah,
so.
and tanky heroes. Mouse have some tanky heroes of their own, but the defensive abilities, aside from Rage, just aren't there. And we'll have to see if they can hold on in spite of that. So, for the moment, Dignitas continue to farm. They've only lost that tier 1 top, and they haven't taken any other structural damage since then. In fact, Snakey doing exactly what he should be, which is keep on pressuring that middle lane while AUI 2000 farms the bottom lane and pressures that one, and force Mouse to back off. Don't let them actually group up and go for a push of any kind. Don't let them find an RP. They're not doing it. And now Dignitas are going for a smoke gank of their own.
Yeah, anytime that you could kind of not lose any structural damage and just trade farms, creep wave by creep wave, you're actually doing quite okay. Because a big strength of this lineup is getting those towers. But it looks like Fada in a little bit of trouble. Lift, gonna toss him back. Is the Centaur coming in? The Centaurs are there. Can he get
Oh, he stole Skewer!
But there's an RP being used. They're gonna get that kill for sure. Hand of God comes in, and big Melt Strike's gonna seal the deal. Qualifier gonna come in, but Drum's already used, and Qualifier in big trouble. He's on the run, but he's gonna eventually go down. Rage, where's the Melt Strike? Nice Nightmare, and I think he might save his carry, but maybe the supports are gonna go down now. Pass. Oh, Iron Shell Surge. Oh, but big LZ.
Perfect. I mean, perfect ability usage, and they're still going to lose everyone. It doesn't even matter. Snake King comes in, and once again, we really have seen this movie before. This is like a dead-on repeat of yesterday's action. It's just Snake King running rampant. Didn't really have that crazy explosive start, but he's finding the room to explode and stretch his rings now. And the really scary thing, Lumi, they're fighting without AUI 2000. He's not even in the fights. And this Luna is a hero that can just go and fight very, very early middle lane. Black might die now as well. Universe with an Invisor and looking to go. The Ion Shell will start this off. Now the trap deployed. We'll see a Surge and Snake King momentarily. And they're going to find Black too. Not even needed is the Surge. And down he goes. That's really a triple kill for Snake King. Disaster for Mouz. They even teleported the Lone Druid in. This game, I want to say almost out of reach. Just it's developing way too quickly for Dignitas.
It feels out of reach because of the hero that Mouzeport has. Imagine if Mouzeport had a Luna and Luna was black and he just teleported in. That Eclipse could definitely turn things around. Maybe not against the Chan creeps, but you get what I mean. You definitely need a hero that could be somewhat combat worthy at this stage of the game.
Or maybe like a gyrocopter, something
sure,
like that.
A gyrocopter or maybe a Void Chronosphere. Anything. They didn't have it, and Black, you know, he thought it was safe. You're not safe against this team, and I'm loving this drum builds more and more. We see it more and more on Templar Assassin nowadays, and you now see why. It just he's a bursty hero in the mid game, or she is, and it allows you to snowball out of control. And now, well, Yasha on top of that.
Yeah, solves your mana problems, and it's not an item like Blink Dagger can be very effective, but the problem is if you buy a Blink and you're not finding kills off of it, then it's mostly wasted gold, whereas this drum's guaranteed to be useful in the fights, gives you those nice stats, and it's something TA has issues with, is her mana. We've seen the Treads pickup is helpful for that regard. You don't see just that phase bottle and go anymore, and the Refraction nerf is the reason why, but Snake Kid is showing that Refraction nerf is not going to stop TA from being a factor. I mean, he's pretty much single-handedly, I would say, making a case for TA to be a top pick, or at least a solid solo mid pick in the scene, is I don't see anyone really playing it very often, and when they do, it's rarely with this level of effectiveness, so props to him, and for Mouse Sports, where do they go from here? At this point, an RP is definitely not going to be a full solution. Double Yasha drum spill for both of the carries on Dignitas. Getting tanky, getting mobile, way too with the mech complete. We'll probably see something like a pipe even start to be constructed now. They're smoked up mid. Are they going to go Roche? Oh, it's a Ninja Roche again?
Well, I mean, if it's going to be a Ninja Roche...
Oh, they're going to fight Black.
Maybe it's a Smoke Gank that Ancient. A la DreamHack. Oh no, looks like Bane sees everything. They want Black, but they're going to get Bane instead. Black on the run, and I think he'll make it out alive here with the Magnus teleporting back in. And that should be it, unless Fog lifts some...
Fog has just been finding all the good spells, and pretty much everything Magnus gives you is good. The one thing that you don't really want is Skewer, but he made that work anyway earlier, and now the trap detonated on 3. Fata trapped by the Dark Troll Warlord, and in comes Snake King. He will eat a stun, but he's just manning up on Black. Eclipse is here, and unfortunately it's not on Mouse's side, it is on a Howie 2000s. He'll find one. He's looking for more. Fata has RP, but will it even matter? He catches Fog. That's not going to be enough. Fog
he's gonna get
looking to steal it. Oh no. Had to just accept his fate, tries to make a little play there, but really, you're not making a play like that. Hand of God wasn't even used. That's just Mouseport basically saying, we're desperate, we're going to force the issue, even if it's a really bad idea, and pretty obviously a bad idea, and it doesn't work, and now the potential for comeback gets even slimmer.
Yeah, you know, you were talking about snaking it, and I don't want to take anything away, but I'm going to repeat something that you said yesterday. A big part of that combo, why snaking is playing so well, it's the unsung hero of Darkseer. It allows you to Surge in, Iron Shell on top, and suddenly, between Surge as well as the trap movement slow, there's nobody that can really run away, and you can't fight him because he's got Refraction and Iron Shell on top. It's like a single kind of big killing combo, and...
Again Fogged. There's the Lucid Beam. They're not going to go on pause. Yeah, it's true. I mean, the Darkseer is a potent ally for a hero like the Templar Assassin, but I just feel Dignitas is having a well-rounded effort. Even, I mean, you look at the support play, Fogged has been sensational, stealing Skewer, and then skewering Magnus back in as he skewers himself away.
Those are always fun to watch.
That was fun, and it was really well executed, too, at that. So, I mean, overall, Dignitas just not really making any mistakes this game. And that's something they're known for. We talked about it yesterday. Generally, Lumi, when they get that lead, they don't give it up. That's really been the story of this team, and they've gotten a lead. I think Mouz, as far as their heroes go, could win this late game, but as far as the way the game's developing, I just don't see it.
Yeah, they definitely don't have the farm to kind of... At least I don't think it can even stabilize at this point. If you stabilize against his team, you're pretty actually good, because Templar Assassin falls off quite a bit. Luna's not exactly the most late game carry, although she does have a ton of farm right now. But if you stabilize, you have a shot, but I don't see them stabilizing because there's 2 more big money bags up on the top lane. And I'm talking about the tier 1 and tier 2 towers. Those eventually will get claimed, but here comes Black. If you get some lucky entangle here on Aoi, oh, lifted. Toss him back.
There's your cock block. No lifts, no entangles in sight, and I don't even know if those entangles are going to matter because we already see Manta Style number 1 being delivered right now to Snakecane. Manta Style number 2 coming at just about 450 gold for AUI 2000. This is bad. This is very bad, and now Boss is going to get caught out by Snakecane. Charges directly into 3 heroes. Quakefo is there, so call it 4. The stolen RP by Fog catches out 3. 4 dead in a matter of seconds. What an absolute unmitigated disaster of a fight for Mouz, and even Black will go down now. His TP cancel. Lucid Beam. Shockwave by Fog. Just insult to injury for Dignitas, and for Mouse Sports, if they tapped out now, I wouldn't even say it's remotely early, and they will. GG, well played indeed. Dignitas, what an easy game 1 for them.
It's time to check who's the feeder on Team Dignitas, because somebody
Fogged.
died.
Somebody report Fogged. I mean, really though, he played amazing.
That's where you say, we have a Magnus? Oh wait, we have Fog. Just as good.
It's like you said, Dignitas, you know, sure, Mouse have picked a very strong team fight lineup with these 3 very tanky carries and then a Magnus backing them up, or the 2 tanky carries and the Magnus backing them up. But then Rubik steals RP, and suddenly Dignitas are the ones with the crazy team fight. So Lumi, it will be Dignitas taking game 1 in an explosive, dominant, 14-1 in 19-minute fashion. But this is a best of 3. Game 2 coming up next. I'm LD. He's Luminous. You're watching the G-1 Champions League, Season 5, the Western Qualifiers, and we're just getting into it in the lower bracket. The loser of this match is gone. So for Mouse Sports, they got to win 2 in a row. For Dignitas, they got to at least take 1 more game, and they'll look to seal it in a simple 2-0 sweep. Stay tuned, Game 2 after this.